Okay guys, we're back.
Hopefully, if you're joining us today for episode 2 of Girls Unplugged, you're already a subscriber. But if you're not, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you are subscribed. This is episode 2 of our podcast where we talk about all things girl chat.
Episode 2 is going to be a bit more about getting to know us. It's going to be short and sweet, but we just want you guys to have a bit more of a flavour about what some of our favourite things are.
Yeah, so to do that, we're going to take inspiration from Letterboxd. If you don't know what Letterboxd is, it's basically an app like Goodreads where you log, review, and rate films. But on your Letterboxd profile, you have your top 4 films. And Letterboxd on social media, you might have seen, they go to like different premieres and things and they ask actors and directors for their top 4. So we're going to do our top 4, but for books, TV shows, movies, and then we've both picked 4 miscellaneous items or objects or things as well that we love. So why don't you start us off with your number 1 favourite book, Tor?
I feel like I'm going to preface this by saying this is not my number 1 favourite. Not that it's not my number 1 favourite book, but I don't have a number 1 favourite book. Like, even picking these 4 is really difficult for me. But I'm going to go in and say my favourite series, she's going to glare at me, is Zodiac Academy. I feel like because it holds such a pivotal place in my heart, if you will, for how I got started on this journey. And even take that away, they are so funny. The romance is amazing. The spice is great. And like I said, they're absolutely fucking hilarious. So they just have a bit of everything. And I just love that about that series. It's just huge for me.
Yeah. Well, I was going to start my number 1 with a different book, but actually now, since you've said it too, I'll also go with Zodiac Academy.
Yeah.
We can't not talk about it. It's basically the reason that we both started social media. It's also how we became friends. If you don't know, it's a dark fantasy series that spans 12 books with the
and a few novellas.
Yeah. So it's a huge commitment. So if you love it, it becomes a huge piece of your heart because you've invested in it for so long.
Years.
Yeah, years. And there's so many characters.
And spin-off series.
The spin-off, yes, the spin-off series, which is Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. Then you have what's the wolf one?
The Darkmoor Penitentiary series.
That's the one. And also the new Solaria series, which is...
the Neverkeep. Is the first book.
Yeah, Neverkeep. So it's a big investment.
100%.
So you have to really love it. But I did really love it. I think for me, what is so special about those books is the characters. You feel like you know them all as friends individually. I feel like I could tell you the main character's favourite songs. I could tell you the way she dresses. I could tell you how she would approach a decision.
Yeah, you become... It's like they become your friends because the found family aspect of the books is such a huge part of it over the course of the books. You feel like you're friends with them. When I read the very last book, I was devastated. It was everything I wanted and more, but I was so sad for it to be over.
Yeah. And they are the funniest fucking books.
They are, genuinely. I've never read anything as funny as Zodiac Academy.
No. Especially the audiobook when Geraldine does her... Guys, if you've not done them on audio, you have to do them on audio. It's so funny.
Yeah, Bridget and Jake Bordeaux are A, some of the loveliest people I've ever met, and B, their audio narrations are just insane.
Yeah,
so anything done by them is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say my second book, I'm going to go to a romance book, and I'm going to say my favourite romance book, Ron's just going to laugh at me, is Heartless. It just is. I'm an Elsie Silver stan. Anyone that's watching this and follows me on BookTok knows I'm an absolute Elsie Silver girl through and through. But Heartless just hit different for me because so many of the tropes relate to mine and Carl's relationship. The people are completely different, but at the time I read it, I was very ginger. When me and Carl met, he was a single dad. He's very grumpy. I'm much more sunshine. There was just so much about it that resonated with me, and I just fucking love it. I just can't deny it. So much so that when I got married, Bronte and a couple of the other girls, Polly actually created it for me.
Polly made it.
they bound me my own copy of Heartless, his own like custom design on it, mine and Kyle's wedding date on it. Honestly, like the best wedding present I got. Is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I could take no credit for that. That was fully Polly. She killed that, honestly. I'll probably go on to a book then. The A is my all-time favourite book, but B because it's very relatable to my life, like you said with Heartless. And that is Normal People by Sally Rooney. And if you've either read the book or watched the TV show, then you know, because I don't feel like there's a single person who hasn't watched the TV show at the very least that didn't love it. Basically, Normal People is literally like what it says on the tin. It just follows two normal people that have known each other through school, and then they both end up going to the same college in Ireland. One's from a very working class single parent background, but he's popular in school. The other one, she's from a very well-off household, but she has an awful family life. And their dynamic changes and flips so many times throughout the story. And it's literally the only book in the world where I don't hate the miscommunication trope, because the whole book is just miscommunication. Like, it could have been solved from one of them just saying how they really feel. But it's just so beautiful. Like, it has so much... it has so many different themes explored, like men's mental health, female sexuality, domestic violence, depression, just so many different things. And it's like very small book, but it's so beautiful, and it will just like always stay with me, I think. So that's my second book.
A book I've never read.
Yeah, a book you've never read. I don't think you would like it. I feel like if you were going to like it, you'd like the show, but not maybe the book.
Interesting. We always have this discussion.
Yeah, we do.
So for my book 3, I'm going to go back to fantasy, and this is more a collection of books again, but I just can't pick one from the series. But it's a series called The Ancient Future, and it's by an author called Tracy Harding. She's an Australian author, published by Harper Voyager, but now gone indie. And the book 1 starts as like a historical fantasy romance where the female main character leaves Australia after her brothers died. She comes to travel in the UK. Her car breaks down in this country lane literally in the first couple of pages, and she's right near the Kingsmen's Circle, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a bit like Stonehenge, but it's on the border of England and Wales. And she's got a puncture in her tyre. She can't get anywhere that night, so she gets her stuff out of her bag and she goes and camps out for the evening at the Kingsmen's Circle. She sparks up a joint and starts to meditate, and before you know it, she is being transported back to medieval Britain. And the story follows her journey back in like medieval times, this romance journey. There's it plays on like the Merlin type ages. There's this dark evil witch. It's just such a great story, and then it spans multiple books, but you kind of go through this journey of multiple lifetimes of her reincarnating into different versions of herself with other kindred spirits. So you get so many stories, but this continuous like found family dynamic, and she really pulls on real life like esoteric studies. So it just feels very positive, and it puts you in a really interesting headspace thinking about that, like manifesting like your own reality, which is something I really believe in. So not only are they great stories, they also really make you think about the way that you manage your own life and karma and all those kinds of things. So honestly, such a great series. I think people will love it.
I love that. I feel like all the best books either teach you something or change the way you look at life.
100%.
My third one is actually not a book, it's a fan fiction.
Of course it is.
It's a Hermione fan fiction, Draco and Hermione, and it's manacled. Literally the most traumatizing thing I've ever read in all the best ways. That book is 1,200 pages long, and I read it in 2 days. I cracked out. I was just like reading under the covers at night, like I couldn't put it down. If you don't know, this is, like I said, a Draco and Hermione fan fiction. If that puts you off, don't worry, I was scared too. It was my first one I ever did. Essentially, it follows an alternate reality where Voldemort won the war, and Harry Potter's dead. A lot of the Order of the Phoenix are dead, but Hermione is alive and she's imprisoned. The story kind of begins with her being forced into being a wife to a Death Eater. It very much is inspired by Handmaid's Tale, so it does have incredibly graphic and dark scenes, not one to go into lightly. But as the story...
Which is why I've avoided it.
Yeah, and I get it, because it's a heavy read. But as the story progresses, you realise, like, there's more to the story, things aren't actually what they seem, and you start to unfold what has actually happened through flashbacks, and then it also flicks back to present day, where they, without spoiling anything, Hermione tries to solve the situation of Voldemort still being alive. I won't say any more than that. I think everyone should read this if the triggers don't put you off. It is honestly, I don't think I could quote sections of it, like, and I've read it once. Like, that's how
that poignant it was for you.
Yeah, like I can actually remember full quotes from the book. And it's so crazy because obviously it is going to be published this year, traditionally, under a new kind of world and story, but called Alchemized. And so that will be out in September. So you can also read that version if you don't want to read specifically about Draco and Hermione. But it is incredible, whether you're a Harry Potter fan or not.
Amazing. One thing you will learn about me, and it will be the same with the TV shows and the films, for me, it's like an in the moment thing. Like, depending on the day you ask me and how I'm feeling that day will be like the difference on like what my favourite series at the moment are, I think, and my favourite books. And one series for me at the minute that I just can't stop talking about is the Legends of Thesmar series by Helen Shura. I never know how to pronounce her name properly, but it's this amazing world where women aren't allowed to be warriors, but of course the main character, Althea, wants to be a war sword. It's an amazing series. I feel like it's quite unique and different to other romanticities out there. Obviously there are similar themes, but it's not like the same regurgitated stuff that we see a lot of these days. And a spin-off series has just released. Iron and Embers is the first book. It came out this month, and that's going to be the Ashes of Thesmar series, and they're just fantastic. Highly recommend, and definitely a favourite in the moment for me.
Yeah, and another one that I haven't read this time.
Yeah,
so I need to go on to those. But for me, the fourth spot, there's so many I could pick for the fourth spot. It's really hard, but I'm going to go with a series that I guess you would say is romance, but doesn't always feel like it, and that's the Magnolia Parks universe.
I thought you were going to go for this.
I literally have a Magnolia Parks tattoo, which I would show you, but it's covered. I am just such a big fan of this series because it's so unlike anything I've ever read. It's so unique. Like I said, it's kind of romance, but it's also kind of just contemporary women's fiction in a way. The characters are so interesting. There's so many of them, and again, we get multi-POV. Like Daisy hates. She is me, I am her. And her brother is my husband. Let's just say that. Julian Hates is my favourite love interest of all time in the romance space. And again, another thing I absolutely love about that series is Jessa Hastings' writing style, because it's so lyrical and descriptive and pretty and poignant. I just love it. And again, as someone who studied fashion at uni, the fashion references in it and the art references in it kind of immerse me even further. Yeah,
so I do have to agree. I've read the first book and I don't know why I haven't gone to the second, because I know I'm going to love it.
I think it's because you know something sad's going to happen.
Yeah, I have one trigger, and I know that later in the series that's going to be hit on, but the first book is my most tabbed book ever, I think. And it is absolutely fantastic. Again, there's that like found family dynamic that for me, what hit home was that I'm the type of person that my friends are my family. I have strange family dynamics, shall we say. Like, I love my family, but I grew up with like my friends being my support mechanisms, and that book really plays on that. I think that's what really drew me into that book, actually.
For sure, because the characters aren't actually very relatable. They're like upper class men, right? Yeah. So there has to be something that you relate to, which is definitely the friends.
But people describe it as Gossip Girl, but set in England, which is partly true. In a way, it is very similar to that kind of thing, but it has so much more depth than Gossip Girl did, in my opinion.
100%. But yeah, that's definitely up there as one of my favourite series ever.
Okay, so let's move on to TV shows. Okay. What is let's just do top 4. We're not going 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do top 4.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I have an all-time favourite TV show anyway, but I feel like one that has to be in the list no matter what is Gilmore Girls. She's laughing because she knows that this is why it has to be on the list, because I rewatch it religiously. Like, I literally finish all 7 seasons and I click start again. I'm obsessed. It's just an easy comfort watch. Like, there's not too much heavy stuff going on. The characters, especially Luke and Lorelai, are super likable. There's romance, there's humour. Like, there's not too much to say about it. It's not that deep, but it is just my ultimate cozy go-to comfort watch. Set in autumn. It's got a cute little small town. Like, it's just the vibe, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I completely get that. Not that I've ever watched it, but my ultimate rewatch show is Friends.
Yeah.
Like, iconic. I fucking love it. And I honestly, if you meet people that know me in real life, I literally refer every single life situation back to a moment in Friends. And I constantly quote it. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law are exactly the same. So we're always like, oh yeah, that...
If you were a Friends character, who do you think you'd be?
Oh, I'm definitely more on the Monica vibes, but I'd say like maybe like a weird mix of like Monica and Rachel, I guess, because I'm not quite so neurotic as Monica.
Yeah.
But I definitely have some like, I don't want to say OCD because I don't have it, but like weird like obsessive behaviours, and like I definitely have some of those, but more on the like Rachel light-hearted, love a bit of fashion.
Yeah.
And honestly, my husband, like the things he come out with give pure Joey energy. It's so funny. We watch it and like Joey moments happen and we just look at each other and burst out laughing.
And he's Italian.
Yeah, exactly. Part Italian, but yeah.
That's a good one. I also love Friends. Like, that is another one of my comfort ones too, to be honest. But...
People that don't, I don't trust them.
Do you know though, I didn't get into it until I was like mid-20s.
Really?
I hated it before that.
Oh my god.
My mum and dad always loved it. Both of them separately watched it.
That's how I got into it. Like, I grew up watching it.
Yeah.
I actually remember vividly when the very last episode aired, and I would have been quite young, maybe very early teens, and my mum was devastated, and I remember being upset, but more because my mum was upset, but she was crying her eyes out at it.
Yeah.
But now, like, watching it, I get it. Something that spans like 10 seasons, you've watched it for years, and a bit like we were saying about Zodiac Academy, you feel like you become part of their little unit. So when you know you're never going to watch a new episode, like, oh my god.
Yeah, and kind of like Zodiac, there is a character sort of stereotype almost for every person.
Yeah.
Everyone can find something to relate to. Okay, my number 2. We're going in completely a different direction here now. I'm going to say Euphoria, which is much darker, not happy-go-lucky at all, but I just love it so much because it combines like everything that I love. Makeup, like they won every award for the makeup. I had never seen anything like that makeup when I watched it. Fashion, the cinematography, the score, like Labyrinth and Zendaya did the score, if you don't know, together. Oh, it's incredible. I listen to that soundtrack when I do gym exercise, like when I want to study, like just anything like that, I will use that soundtrack. The acting, obviously it has a really big cast, like a lot of the actors that were in it are now huge. Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, never know how you say it, I don't know. Anyway,
Zendaya.
My queen! I love her, honestly, I love her. But yeah, I just absolutely love that show. I think it is so unique. I can't really think of anything that's similar. Maybe Skins, when Skins came out, but obviously this is a much more modern version. And I feel like I'm one of the only people that is excited about the news of season 3. I know a lot of people don't want it because obviously Angus Cloud has passed away, which is incredibly sad, and then also just the time difference between the 2 seasons. But I still think they'll pull it off, so that is one of my favourites for sure.
Another TV show I've never watched.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know if you would like that or not. I feel like it's a bit too dark for you.
Yeah, I'm all about if I watch TV, and I feel like this is one of our, like what we were saying in the first episode, like some key differences between us. Bronte is really into films and TV. Like, don't get me wrong, I love watching it, but I am also all about TV. For me, it's like stuff I can just kind of switch off to and comfort more so than like, what's a new series, what's a new film. I'm
Yeah.
going to kind of like digest it, review it. I would never think to review a film or a TV series like you do on socials kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like with films and TV, I turn from a basic bitch to something way, way, way worse, a film bro.
I was about to say, like, sometimes I feel like Bronte's a film critic.
Yeah. It's like where I get a little bit pretentious and a little bit analytical, and I can feel myself doing it, but I just love it. It's so funny because when I went to uni, it was always a toss-up of whether I studied fashion or film. It was the two things that I was deciding between. I went fashion because it was more able to be used in like business and marketing and stuff, but sometimes I wish I'd done film.
I do. It's funny because I love you at like your normal, just like average, cozy like feel like this, but I love listening to you when you get really analytical about TV and films, because you just sound so intelligent and articulate, and I'm like, I could never, like, if people watch my outtakes and when I'm trying to describe a fucking book when I'm filming a TikTok, I say, like, I just sound so stupid. And
No, you don't sound
so
stupid. You do not sound stupid. But thank you, that's nice. What's yours?
I'm going to flip as well. Completely different to Euphoria, but I love a bit of trashy reality TV.
Oh,
she knows what I'm going to say.
I do.
I am a Kardashian stan.
Bible!
Honestly, hence the reference right at the beginning of this episode. I am Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is me. Like, I'm like the British.
You're nicer.
I'm like the British poor version of Kim Kardashian. It just in the sense that I feel like I will always try and make like the most out of a situation. And although loads of people don't like her, I completely get why people don't like her. But I feel like she is such a badass. Like, she's turned everything into like a monetary gain, and not everyone's out for money. I personally am. I love having money. I love making money. It's just a natural part of my personality, and I just love people that work hard. And I feel like for someone that started from she could have taken her situation and just kind of ended up like a backwater Z-lister. But no, she like made something out of like a crappy reality TV show, and look at her now. So I just feel like the basics of like how she continues to progress and push herself and always wants to be doing something different and something outside of her comfort zone. I can't help but respect that about her.
Yeah.
And just the TV show in general, I love it because of the family dynamics. I'm one of multiple sisters. I've got an older brother. You know, it just, again, a bit like shows like Friends and Gilmore Girls, you can't help but relate someone to the characters in the TV show, like especially the sister dynamics. So yeah, trashy, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, I feel like the old seasons especially were so funny, like Scott Disick and Chloe's pranks.
Todd
Anti-Chris, it's me, Todd Cranes. That lives in my head rent free.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, there's probably so many phrases I say because of those shows as well. I don't really watch it so much anymore, but I for years I did.
Like, religiously.
Yeah.
Like Thursdays it comes on, like, yes, there's an episode of Disney Plus. I was like, fuck's sake.
My new reality TV, I'm not going to use this as one of my favourites, but just a quick segue to say my current favourite reality TV show is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
No, I can't stand it.
No, it's so good.
No, we're going to have to do a whole episode on reality TV.
Oh my god, we should.
Because I feel like we could talk about it for ages.
Yeah, it's my guilty pleasure.
Maths, Love Island, like all of Olivia Atwood, a bit like Kim Kardashian, someone I've got so much respect for, and I love all the reality shows that she does.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do an episode.
We should, yeah.
Add it to our idea list.
It's my guilty pleasure. My third show is where things start to get a bit complex because there's, again, like so many that I love, but I feel like one that I have to include because I never fucking shut up about it, and she knows what I'm going to say, is The Bear. Which, again, she doesn't like, so that's
no, but my husband loves it. Obviously, he's a chef. I probably should have said that in the first episode, but he loves it, and he really relates to some of the stuff that happens in the kitchen. So.
Yeah. I can definitely see why people don't like it. I always say to like people when they say, oh, I'm going to watch it because I saw like your post about it or whatever, I always say like it's not for everyone. It's so chaotic and like you'd kind of feel stressed when you're watching it. So it's not a relaxing TV show by any means. But again, I think this is like a common thread through all of my favourite things. It is so unique. Like, I just haven't seen anything like that before, whether it's the restaurant setting, the style of editing, the really like short, quick, fast-paced episodes, the character arcs. Like, if you have watched it, you know what I'm talking about, because Richie from season 1 to Richie in season 3 is just like a whole different person. But everything about the show is magic to me. I recently rewatched it because I want to be up to date for when the new season comes out. And I loved it even more on rewatch. And I found so many things that I hadn't noticed the first time I watched it, or I like picked up on little nuances that I hadn't made the connection with. And also, I've been a Jeremy Allen White stan for a long time because I also used to watch Shameless US, and he was in that, and I loved
I never watched that. I watched the UK one, but I never watched the US one.
The US one is actually really good. Well, it was good before one of the main characters left, but it was really good. He is phenomenal in it. But yeah, I think that would be my next favourite.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to give it another go one day, but I just feel like it's not for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's just too stressful for you.
It's just not my thing. Speaking of character development, different lines. Vampire Diaries and the originals.
I was wondering when you were going to bring it up. I was wondering.
I'm going to bundle them into one because I just feel like it's like the same storylines that just diverge, but I am a Vampire Diaries stan. I remember watching the first episode and just becoming absolutely obsessed, and I cannot tell you how many times I've rewatched both shows so many times. My best friend Amy will literally message me sometimes, like she's PMT and she feels like she needs to go cry, and she will message me, and Ellie does this as well from time to time. I want to watch this episode. What season and episode is it? And I'm like, it's season 3, episode 19. And for those of you that know, you know.
And that's a skill because there's so many episodes per season.
Yeah, literally. Sometimes I don't always get it right, especially anymore. I don't have as much time to, like, I used to rewatch it probably twice a year. I'd always have it on in the background. It's just like background noise. But yeah, God, I just love that show. I just feel like the music that goes along with the show, we were talking about this the other week, it's just so well done. It always makes situations so emotive. And, I just bloody love it.
Yeah, facts. I love that show too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Bonnie and Enzo.
Oh,
Fun
Caroline
fact.
and Klaus. I am like a Klaus stan. Like, the actor in real life, don't find him attractive, but him as Klaus, I don't know. It's just something about him.
I get it. Rebecca laugh. Fun fact, I met Bonnie at Comic Con last year.
You did?
She was so pretty in person. Like, I know she looks pretty on screen. She looks even better in real life.
She's a stunner.
I went mute. And I'm not like a shy person. I was just kind of like hypnotised by her eyes. But anyway. And then, what, is this my final show now?
This is your final show, yeah.
Pressure. Okay.
Under pressure.
I'm gonna go with...
I'm trying to give you time.
It's working. Keep doing it. Keep singing.
I can't anymore.
Okay, I'm picking between 2.
Oh God, okay. Tell us what the 2 are and then tell us which one you're going to pick.
Okay, so my 2 options are Peaky Blinders.
Okay, yeah.
By order the Peaky fucking Blinders. Or Handmaid's Tale.
I mean, I've never watched Handmaid's Tale and I've only watched season 1 of Peaky Blinders.
Well, you're no help then, are you?
I know.
I'm currently mid-rewatch of Handmaid's Tale, but I'm going to go with Peaky Blinders just because I feel like it's consistently good from season 1 to season 5 or 6, however many seasons there were. Again, super gritty, quite dark, not a very positive show, but the acting, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, the acting is phenomenal in that show.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy is just unreal. And I am a bit of a, like, lover of action. I do like things with guns and fighting. So that really appeals to that side. But yeah, I just watched it start to finish. I loved all the characters. I loved how dramatic it was. Non-stop action, like I said. Set in the Midlands, UK. Kind of biased. I'm from nearby. So that's going to be my 4th one, I think.
Okay, yeah, nice. I am also stuck between 2. And again, a bit like with the books, it's kind of like a flavour of the month thing. Is it? No, I know what my number 1 is. And it's actually going to be documentary. Reality documentary style. And that's Drive to Survive, the Formula One Netflix show.
Yes.
I am absolutely obsessed. I have never liked F1 my whole life. My granddad used to watch it, and when I used to go and stay with them, I used to hate it.
Yeah.
And then Kyle started watching the documentary. First season, didn't take any notice. I'd kind of watch it if it was on in the background. But I would never take any notice. When season 2 came out, I actually sat down and watched it. And then the following seasons I did. And I just really got into it. A bit like with fantasy. There's like this weird political intrigue aspect when you're watching behind the scenes of F1. The dynamics between like the teams and the drivers. It's so funny and so interesting. That's what actually got me into F1. And I ended up switching from Virgin back to Sky because I was like, oh, I need Sky Sports because I need to watch the races that happen. Because I'm not really a sports kind of gal. Like when I was a bit younger, I enjoyed watching football, but not to any great extent. Now I'm like every race, I'm like, oh my God, if I can't watch it, I'm fuming because my kid's like, turn the racing off. And I'm like, you will be McLaren fans. But the show is, even for people that don't like racing, I think the show is so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, our other friend, Polly, as well, she started watching it and it made her a huge F1 fan as well.
It is so interesting, it really, really is.
But this is the thing, I love sports documentaries. I don't like sports, but I love sports documentaries.
Me too,
I've watched all of Cheer, all of Last Chance U. If you haven't seen The Last Dance on Netflix,
the Michael Jordan one, it's so good.
So good. Like so I feel like I know I would like Drive to Survive, but I said to Polly, I haven't got room for another hobby. I've not got room for another special interest, so I'm not watching it.
Room.
Oh,
There's
God.
always room.
But yeah, good. That's a good one to end with, I think, for TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Movies. Top 4 movies.
Honestly, I feel like a bit like with TV shows, I'm all about comfort rewatches.
Yeah.
Like probably none of my films are gonna be, you're all gonna be like, oh really?
No, but that's again why it's so interesting, because
Yeah.
yours are gonna be like comfort, nostalgic, fun. Some of mine will be like that, but some of them won't.
Yeah, no, I feel like, and I'm one of those people, even though I've thought about this, when I have it, this is the ADHD in me, when someone asks me to make a decision about something like this or talk about something, I just freeze and I can't think of anything that I like.
Yeah.
But I would say one film I consistently go back to, especially if I'm feeling anxious and want to watch something that I know is going to make me laugh, is Grown Ups 1 and 2. They add like those films. Do you know
I've never seen. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I've never seen them.
Do you know what? I'm not the biggest Adam Sandler fan. Like I like some of his stuff, but those films is just something about, again, the family dynamics, like the friendships and the kids, and they're just so funny. They always crack me up, and they're nothing groundbreaking. But if I'm feeling anxious, low, and I want to watch something that I know is just going to be comfortable, that is an absolute go-to film for me.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, for me, my comfort film that I'm going to pick is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the third one.
Such a good film.
I'm such a Lord of the Rings stan. I love the books. I love all of the films, but the third one specifically because of all the action and the battles.
Yeah, it's in such an insanely good film.
It's so insanely good, and like there's so many iconic bits, like when Eowyn says, "I am no man," and the other's like, "Slay Queen," and then like when Gimli and Legolas are doing their little competition.
Oh my God,
it's so funny.
I'm such a Gimli.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then Aragorn when he comes with the ghosts and the army.
Oh,
honestly,
making me want to do a rewatch.
Yeah, anytime it's on Sky Movies, it's going on in the background. I just never get sick of it. I love it so much, and it's definitely like a family thing. Like my sister loves it, my mum loves it, my dad loves them. My dad's copy of the books was what I first read. Like it's just a big thing in our family, and so there is also that sort of attachment to it as well. But yeah, again, another one with an incredible score as well. Like I do listen to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack when I write, because I just
so epic.
Yeah,
so
epic.
See that.
Yeah, so that's definitely like, I think that's been my longest running favourite film. You know, because obviously they came out like 20 years ago now.
Oh yeah, ages ago.
Oh, we're old.
Speaking of iconic films, Harry Potter is definitely on my list, like all of them, but my favourite is Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Order of the Phoenix is actually the first Harry Potter book I read. I didn't start reading the books like when they came out. I randomly went to the bookshop as a teen, and I was like, I think it was after Goblet of Fire had come out, and I was like, I want to know what happens next. So I watched the first 4 films first,
okay.
and then wanted to know what happened next. So that was the first book I read, and it just ended up being my favourite book and my favourite film.
Yeah. Did you then go back and
I did then go back and reread all of them. I just loved them. I loved that it took me back to that like childhood place of really believing when you're a kid like magic could exist and that could be your life. And I still probably at least monthly watch at least one of them like in the background, and my kids are starting to get into them. Zola's 5 now, and she's watched number 1 and number 2, which I was nervous about because of the spiders.
Oh yeah.
But she was actually fine. I just feel like from Prisoner of Azkaban they'd probably get a bit too grown up for like where the first 2 will probably be a bit too grown up for her, but she really enjoyed them. So
yeah.
And I love that legacy is going to carry on through all of her life as well, because they just naturally become obsessed with the same things as I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just iconic, isn't it? It's like a piece of British cinema.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's going to flip to away from fantasy now, but actually, this is my favourite genre of film in general, which is sci-fi. Weirdly, I don't read much sci-fi, but I love it in films. My favourite film of all time is Interstellar. Literally have an Interstellar tattoo. When I saw that film in cinema, it was like my mind was blown. I mean, blown. Like, I was quite young when when it came out. Like, I was definitely in my teens. I saw it with my dad. Me and my dad have always gone to watch films together. My dad loves sci-fi too. That's definitely where I get it from. He works in the sciences as well, so there's kind of that like link to it, especially with the father and daughter relationship being so prevalent in the film. But just everything about it, like the cinematography, like it being set in space and you literally feel like you are there. Matthew McConaughey's acting, incredible. I cry every time at the scene when he watches the tape. Oh, so sad. I liked how it was kind of dystopian. I liked how it touched on like the environment. It's just, there's so much to it. It's just an amazing film. It's one that I love so much that I try not to rewatch it. I've probably only watched it 3 times total over those like 10, however many years, it's been 10 years, 15 years. Because I don't ever want to get sick of it.
Yeah.
And I like watching and forgetting parts and being like, oh yeah, like that happens and this is what I loved about it. So it's a very special film, but I also just don't want to ever ruin it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that a film to you is so special that you don't want to like oversaturate it in your mind almost.
Well, I kind
Never
of do
thought
that
of it like that.
with books as well. I've only ever reread Normal People once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm scared to reread in case I don't like it anymore.
Oh my god, stop. That would be devastating.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. I'm going to tilt to romance. And this is actually a new favourite for me. But the film, I don't know if you've watched it yet, but I feel like I've talked about it loads the last like year. And it's called Anyone But You.
I haven't watched it yet.
And it's Sydney Sweeney and I can't remember the guy's name.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah. And it's just so funny. And about halfway through, I twigged why I loved it so much. Because I didn't know going into it. It's like a modern day twist on Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Much Ado About Nothing was one of my, believe it or not, as a small child, was one of my favourite films growing up. The Emma Thompson, Kenneth Branagh version. Absolutely loved it, and I'll still watch now and absolutely adore that film. So I feel like it was just like instantly embedded in me that I was gonna love it because it's the same kind of storyline. But it is one of the funniest romance. You know, like sometimes romances try to be funny and it just doesn't hit the mark. This is hilarious. There are some scenes that just absolutely crack me up every time. And since I watched it for the first time about 6 months ago, I think I've rewatched it like 4 times because I just absolutely loved it.
I need to watch it. I'm slacking.
You do.
I feel like I will love it.
Yeah.
I love a romance. I'm going to pick a romance for number 3. Number 3 and 4 definitely alternate quite often for me depending on my mood, like you say. But my favourite ever rom-com is Clueless. I love Clueless. And obviously that is based on... Oh my gosh, what's it based on? Emma?
No, it's based on. Oh my god, I can't remember.
Yeah, one of the classics.
Isn't it based on a Shakespeare? Look it up.
I've got to look it up, otherwise it's gonna bug us. But it's I swear it's based on a classic book. What is Clueless based on?
Tell us.
Yeah, it's Emma, Jane Austen.
Oh.
But yeah, so I didn't even realise it was based on that for years. But again, going back to like what I said about Euphoria and Magnolia Parks, it has the fashion references.
Yeah.
It has the shopping. It has like the best friend girl dynamics, like Dion and Cher, iconic.
Yeah.
Obviously Brittany Murphy, R.I.P., is so funny in it.
God, yeah.
Like I love the bit when she's at the house party. She's like rolling with the homies, so she hits her head. Just such a like easy watch, funny, and I also do love Paul Rudd. Like I love Paul Rudd,
and that man has not aged
at all.
Literally, when I watch him in Friends and Clueless, and I look at him now, I'm like, this is some kind of
witchcraft.
Yeah. Some kind of sorcery.
Yeah.
And I need whatever fucking face cream he's using.
Yeah, he hasn't aged at all. And same with Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, that's so true.
He's not aged. I want his skincare line. But yeah, Clueless, like, there's nothing like particularly deep about my love for it. It's just something I go back to time and time again. I still find it funny.
Yeah.
It's still easy watch. I still, like, love the relationship between Cher and her stepbrother. Well, he's not actually her stepbrother, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just a banger, a classic.
Yeah. Okay, fair. I'm really stuck on my final two. And they're both nostalgic kind of films. They're definitely both nostalgic films for me, but not from a comfort watch perspective. And that's Armageddon and Practical Magic.
I've never seen Armageddon,
and I feel like that probably is my favourite, just because it's kind of got a bit of everything. It's got like a romance aspect, so much action. It's so funny in places. And it's so emotional.
Yeah.
I watched that film. I went to Florida as a kid, and my dad took us, like, first time I ever went to like a big IMAX theatre to watch it, like just as it was releasing. And it was phenomenal. I was probably too young to watch it then, to be honest with you. But I don't know, just something about it has always stuck with me. And whenever the music for it comes on, it always makes me want to, I cry when I hear like Steve Tyler's Don't Want to Close My Eyes song. So yeah, I feel like that, but Practical Magic has to have a little shout out because I absolutely love that film.
Fair. I mean, I also love Practical Magic.
Such a good film.
I feel like every fantasy girly loves it, right? Okay, for my final film, I'm again stuck between two options. So I'm going to tell you...
just pick 5 of everything?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you the genre and you can pick which genre. Okay. Comedy or psychological thriller?
Comedy.
Okay, my favourite ever comedy that I could quote start to finish is Superbad.
Oh my god, really?
Have fun, fucking Jules. I will. I am a huge fan of Seth Rogen's films in general. Superbad, Pineapple Express, Knocked Up, you know, This Is the End. And they are such a big part of like my teenage years as well, because me and my sister used to watch a lot of them together all the time. We still do. And then I went to the cinema with my friend to see This Is the End. When I tell you, we had like tears streaming down our face at the bit where, I don't know if you've seen it, but the bit where the demon comes at the end and his like dick is like swinging around.
Never seen it.
Oh my god, you need to watch it. It's so silly, but it's so funny. It's like celebrities playing themselves in an apocalypse. Emma Watson's in it, Rihanna's in it, Channing Tatum's in it.
Oh my god, I have to watch this.
And then all of like his usual crowd of like Jonah Hill, James Franco, Seth Rogen. But Superbad specifically, I laugh even thinking about it. It's so funny, like the absurdity of it all, but also the relatability of these. Like,
I have watched that one and it is funny.
Yeah, like these 3 nerdy teenagers, and I was so geeky at school. Like I was so geeky.
I just can't imagine it.
Oh yeah, so geeky. Like I had a really small friendship group, proper like not cool, but yeah, just the silly slapstick humor, and it just never fails to put me in a good mood. If I don't know what to watch or if I'm ill or something, either Clueless, The Duff or Superbad is going on the TV.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
You do talk about the Duff a lot, actually.
I do.
You do?
And what's so funny about that is the book is completely different to the film, but I love both equally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I've said interesting a lot in this podcast.
Interesting.
I feel like I'm learning a lot about you. You guys are learning about us, but I'm learning a lot about you. Okay. 4 miscellaneous things. What's your number one?
Matcha. I can't. I'm addicted. It's crack. I have to have it at least every other day.
Amazing. My number one, my husband in grey sweatpants, no boxers and a backwards cap.
That is not where I thought this was gonna go.
Had to be said, like, he does not bowl around like that often, let me tell you. But if he puts his hat on backwards, or he doesn't even have it on his head, it's just like sitting on top of his head and it looks like a proper little rude boy. I'm like,
Rude boy?
why do I fancy you so much right now? What's wrong with me? Why is that attractive to me? But it fucking is.
Fair. The girl wants what the girl wants.
The girl wants what the girl wants, and now I want my husband half.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Half the time if he's annoying me with the kids, but pretty much most of the time. I fancy the pants off of them.
This is good. Okay, my second one is sweatshirts. I have a whole drawer full of sweatshirts. I'm on a sweatshirt buying ban.
Oh,
You think I'm on a book buying ban? No, I'm on a sweatshirt buying ban. I just love them. They go with everything. They're cozy. They cover your bum when you're in leggings and you don't want your VPL to show. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
You can make them look cool and edgy like Princess Di in the 90s, or you can just go full loungewear.
Yeah, full cozy.
There's just so much versatility, and so many of them end up being like band merch or book merch, so there's that too. So I
multiple reasons
bury
to buy
me
them.
in a sweatshirt.
Yeah, but okay, I'll make sure I remember that.
Thank you.
Noted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 2, I'm gonna say, is trainers.
Oh, we're both trainer girls.
We're both trainer girls, both jumper girls, both trainer girls. But
Yeah.
I have had a trainer obsession since I was small. Like when I was in my teens, were walking around in like skirts and dolly shoes, like that was the thing. I was living in trainers. So the people doing it now are basically just copying me, because all the teenagers do it now. Gen Z live in dresses and trainers, and I've been doing it since I was like fucking 6 years old. So I started that trend, just saying, you heard it here first.
Well, I mean, literally not even 2 days ago, I was texting Tor a picture of trainers in a Nike outlet store, Dunks no less, and they were reduced to £50. And I was like, tell me not to buy them, tell me not to buy them.
I was like, oh, they look really nice though.
Yeah, and I was like, you're supposed to be telling me not to buy them. I did actually resist though.
You did.
But they were nice, I might go back with them.
But your number 3, what's yours?
Number 3 is cats. I won't be expanding on that at any point. It's just cats. I'm basically just the eHarmony lady.
You're going to be a crazy
I love
cat
cats. I want to hug every cat.
I feel like a lot of our friends are cat people. I'm not a massive cat person, but a lot of our friends are.
I've grown up with dogs as well, but there's just a slight edge over them for cats for me, because I think they're just not as needy.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Again, probably no context needed. Coffee. I'm a mum, 2 toddlers, stepmom to a teenager. They drive me up the wall. One of them stays up till the middle of the night. 2 of them get up and down all the time in the night. They get up early. I live on caffeine. Like, it fuels me, literally. I need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's me with matcha, to be honest. Like, just put it in an IV in my veins. My final one has to be 90s nude brown lipsticks. I don't even want to talk about how many I have, because it's overconsumption at this point. It's actually embarrassing. Like, there's no way one girl can wear that many different shades of brown nude lipstick. But if I see a new one, it's like a Pokemon. It's like, gotta catch them all. Like, I gotta bring it home with me. I just love them. Something about them just works for me. I'm not really like a red lip girl. Very rarely will I wear one, but a brown nude, always.
I'm also a brown nude girl, but I do love a red lip.
Yeah.
I do love one. I don't wear it often, but I do like it.
I feel like it makes my lips look smaller.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
I do understand that. Number 4, I'm going to say, and I'm surprised you haven't said this, is getting new tattoos.
I did think about it, but I've got
she's
no
more covered than I am.
I've got no more room for new ones, so
you've got loads of room left. But I just there's something about tattoos, getting a new one. even ones, I only have one that I regret having done, and I don't actually regret having it done. It was just that the tattoo artist was terrible.
This is exactly the same as me. My bicep one, I don't regret it, but it just wasn't done well.
Yeah. My neck's got to come off. Like, I hate it, but and eventually I will have that done. But just all my other tattoos represent some moment in my life that I just look back on and I think, oh my God, like, in my short 33 years, I've done so much and created so many amazing bonds. Because a lot of mine are, you know, like my hand, my arm, they're matching with my friends. Like, I've got other ones matching with people. I had them done with friends. And they all mean a lot to me. So I just feel like I will continue to get them done well into my old age.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I don't have any matching ones with anyone.
Let's get one.
Should we go?
Girls,
yeah.
Oh my God, we should get a little white crop though.
Or a little like headset. Maybe you get the microphone, I'll get the headphones.
You heard it here first.
Next podcast coming from a tattoo parlour. But yeah, that's it for today. That was our top 4s. Hopefully that gave you a bit of an insight into our taste, into the kinds of things we enjoy outside of books as well as books.
A bit of a flavour of who we are.
Yeah, the vibe, you know. Don't forget to comment below if you have any similar favourites or different ones too. Like, we just want to know what your favourites are. And also, please feel free to comment below what you'd like to see more of from us.
What do you want to hear us yap about?
Yeah. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, which won't be a get to know us. It will be something completely different. But make sure you subscribe to us so you can be in the know about that. We are on the place where podcasts exist: Spotify, YouTube, Apple, all of those places. And you can find us on all of the socials as well. Our links are in the description. So we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.